Hello, everyone. For my podcast assignment, I'm going to be ranking all the Call of Duty Zombies maps. Now, these maps have been around for a long time, since the early 2000s, and they're still going on today. However, for my list, I'm only going to be doing them up to Black Ops 3, so about half the list. For those unfamiliar with Tier Maker, basically we rank these things based on their quality, how we personally feel about them. So S rank would be, so it goes from S, A, B, C, D, and F. S being the absolute best, little to no flaws, F being absolute garbage. Start us off, we're going to start with the very first map, Nacht der Untoten. Now, I have to be fair to this one because it was the first map. It does have its issues, obviously. You know, it's a small, two-story building, no wonder weapons, you know, very bare bones. But it did begin all of it, and it really sets in tone that sense of horror. But being what it is, I'm going to put it in D rank just because it started all. Next we have Verrückt. Now, in terms of the atmosphere, Verrückt is one of the best ones because you're in an insane asylum and you spawn separately from all your teammates, so you're all scattered around the map and you have to find each other. The atmosphere, as I said, you're in an insane asylum where experiments are being held. So there is a deep sense of horror as there's mangled bodies and screams to be heard everywhere you go. It's a very tight map. The layout is a bit cramped, but I believe that also adds to the horror aspect of it. And this map also introduced Perca-Colas to Call of Duty Zombies, which is you buy them, you take a drink, you get a special ability, such as taking more damage, reloading faster, stuff like that. It also added the roaming mystery box. So Verrückt, for all what it is, I'm going to put it in C tier. Shi No Numa. Shi No Numa, it kicked off the story of zombies, because the basic story is World War II. During World War II, there was a lot of Nazi experiments going on, and they discovered a new element that crash landed on the planet, Element 115, and allowed them to do some crazy stuff, and that's where the zombies come from. It also gave us our classic characters. We also got the first non-ray gun wonder weapon, the Wunderwaffe, which is still to this day one of the greatest wonder weapons. Shoots out a bolt of lightning that chains to all the zombies with infinite damage. That being said, this map, there's honestly no reason to go back to it because it's just overshadowed by everything that came after. It doesn't do anything particularly well. It's just very basic. So honestly, I'm going to put it above Nacht, but it's still D tier. Here we have our first S tier, Der Riese. Now, Shi No Numa kicked off the story, but Der Riese is where we really got into the lore of zombies. And this map really shined the way for what came after. You know, great design, added the Pack-a-Punch, which allows you to upgrade your weapons, so that really changed the game. Added the dog rounds, great training areas, and overall just a very aesthetically pleasing map. So we're going to put Der Riese up in S tier. Next up, we got Kino der Toten. Now, this was a lot of people's first zombie map. It's about as classic as you can get because, to me, it's the perfect beginner map. While it didn't innovate anything, it kind of had the perfect blend of everything that came from World at War. And wonder weapon-wise, it gave us the Thunder Gun, one of the best wonder weapons. It being kind of the perfect beginner map, I'm going to put it in A tier. Next up, we have 5. Oh boy. 5... Starting with the positives, you get to play as a different set of characters from actual history. You play as John F. Kennedy, Fidel Castro, Robert McNamara, who was the Secretary of Defense at the time, and Richard Nixon. This has one of the coolest settings in all of zombies because you're in the Pentagon and you go down the elevator into the secret areas. In terms of the layout, it's very tight and challenging. There's really not much room to go around besides the main DEF CON room. It's extremely hard to survive on this map because of its shortcomings. And another reason people didn't like this map is because you had the Pentagon Thief, this crazy scientist dude who comes in and steals your weapons, and if you don't kill him in time, you don't get it back. And secondly, the wonder weapon that was introduced, the Winter's Howl, it's really cool, it looks really cool, but it's one of the worst wonder weapons of all time. It shoots out a blast of ice and it just does not do much damage. It's pretty useless after like round 25. Could have been a lot better, but 5, honestly, yeah, that's where we're going to leave it. Next we have Ascension. Now, one thing I like about this map is you start out in black and white, and once you turn the power on, you get full color on your screen. I think that's a really nice detail. This map has great training areas. Training is when you just move zombies around like you would cattle, have them follow you, and you just gun them down. Downsize this map is the astronaut monkeys that come flying in. They go to the perk machines and try and steal your perks. If you don't kill them in time, guess what? You lost your perks. Aesthetically, this map was great, and it gave us the first Easter egg. Easter eggs are being like a quest you go through to complete these maps. So Ascension, me personally, I put it in B tier. Next up, we have Call of the Dead. This map is one of my personal favorites. It features George Romero, who is the godfather of all zombies. He created the genre, and other famous horror actors. Danny Trejo, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Robert Englund, Michael Rooker. They all come to the tundra to film a movie, and then the real zombies come out, steal George, and turn him into a zombie. So he's on the map chasing you the whole time. Some people like it, a lot of people don't, because he constantly chases you the whole time and gets really annoying. Along with the ice in it, it slows you down. There are some downsides to this map. Now, it added 2 new wonder weapons, the VR-11 and Scavenger Rifle. VR-11 was good. It turned zombies into humans and distracted them. But other than that, it didn't really have much use. It was a very niche weapon. Scavenger shot explosive rounds from a sniper rifle. Super cool, and it's one of the coolest looking weapons in the whole series. However, it's kind of easy to kill yourself with it. And after round 30, it doesn't really do that much damage. But this was also the first time we got Avenged Sevenfold featured in Call of Duty Zombies. So, all in all, I think it's a super cool map. Just has its flaws. That stops it from being S tier. Shangri-La is a piece of garbage we're not going to talk about. It's an ugly area in the jungle. It has a terrible Easter egg. Wonder Weapon is stupid. I mean, it's fun, but it doesn't really have much use. It just turns zombies into little miniature baby zombies. It's a terrible map. Oh, Moon. In all of me playing zombies, I have never had a map that I wanted to like so much, but couldn't because there's so much holding it back. Moon is, you can tell by his name, you fight zombies on the moon, which is awesome. However, you start on Earth, and you have to get into this teleporter as fast as you can. The perk Juggernaut is the one you want the most because it lets you take more hits. And they put it on Earth. You're supposed to go teleport to the moon, and then you play through the whole thing, and you can teleport back to Earth to get the Pack-a-Punch. And that's where Juggernaut is. Why would you put the most essential perk on a different planet? Another annoying thing is the astronaut that comes by. See, he wanders the whole map, and if he grabs you, he teleports you and takes your perks. All my homies hate Astronaut. Another thing is having to run. So there's this excavator that goes down in areas, and if you don't run all the way back to where you start, then it goes down in an area and ruins it, and you're blocked off from it. So you're constantly having to run back to stop this stupid thing from crashing into the domes. Not only that, but you also have to wear an astronaut suit. So if you don't have that on, you die because you run out of air. It had a really cool Easter egg at the end. You quite literally blow up the Earth. But it had really, really annoying steps. A lot of them relied on RNG. But all in all, lore-wise and like settings-wise, it was a great send-off to the series. So I think I can comfortably put it in B tier. You know, I'm being too nice. C tier. Moving on to Black Ops 2. Transit. I think we all liked Transit at the time, but looking back on it, it is quite literally the worst zombies map. It introduced buildables, which was cool. The map focuses on riding a bus around different areas. You can't stay in areas long because the bus will leave you. Not only that, if you want to go off on your own, you have these little gremlins that pop on the ground and grab your face as you're walking through the streets. See, unless you have like a Bowie knife or something, you're gonna have a really rough time. The Easter egg is extremely tedious, and it requires 4 people. You can't do it by yourself. And it has the worst weapon in zombies, the worst wonder weapon in zombies. It's called the jet gun. It sucks in zombies. Sounds cool, but building it is terrible. You have to run over all these different areas on the map. And not only that, the fucking thing breaks. Are you kidding me? Why would I want to build a wonder weapon that breaks? But I still had a lot of fun playing this map when it came out with friends. It's just sad that it's not as good as it was supposed to be because of the limitations of the console. Anyways, moving on to Nuketown. This map is pretty meh. It does nothing special. It's good for a quick round of zombies. You know, if you just want to spend like 20 minutes, half an hour screwing around. There's no wonder weapons other than the ray gun. Perks come in randomly falling from the sky, and it's always Jug that comes in super late. So yeah, not great. Die Rise. Everybody, and I mean everybody, hated this map when it came out. It's a vertical map, so you're working like inside buildings and elevators and crap. It allows you to revive yourself if you go down. Sounds cool and all, but you can still be attacked by zombies when you're in that form, so what's the point? If you weren't going to survive with your main weapons, you're not going to survive with a stupid pistol. The one and only good thing that came out of this map was the wonder weapon that you built. It wasn't hard to build at all. It's called the Slickofire. Turns zombies into goo when they slip around. So Die Rise, I'm going to put you... Me personally, you belong here. Now, Mob of the Dead, this is the easiest S tier of my life. This map saved zombies, and I don't mean that lightly. After Transit, Nuketown, and Die Rise, people were honestly worried about the future of zombies. But Mob of the Dead came out of left field with the biggest haymaker you've ever seen and saved zombies. You start off in a new form called Afterlife. What it is you're like this little ghost electric form. You go around, you can turn on things on the map and move things around, go through walls, things you couldn't do in your normal form. Now, the characters were based off real people, and they're trying to escape Alcatraz, as I said before, which is based off a real event. The Easter egg quest was amazing, has some incredible weapons like the Blundergat, new wonder weapon. This was the first map that introduced background music, which I know sounds crazy, but we didn't have it before that. The only music was Easter egg music. You know, you find a couple things on the map and you activate it. This time we have music on almost all the time. So yeah, easiest S tier. Buried. Next map we have is Buried. Now, this map has some really cool wonder weapons like Paralyzer, and it introduced the goated Ray Gun Mark II. Now, when it first came out, solving this map was super fun. There were a lot of secrets in it and how you got around, and you could take chalk and paint whatever weapon paint. You could take chalk and draw whatever weapons you wanted, and you could buy them off the walls. Downsides, it's an easy map once you learn it. There's no real good training spots, so you're not really going to get the high rounds that easily, unless you use buildables, and that's super boring. It added some witches, and they're more of a nuisance than an actual threat. They fly around and steal your money. It added way too many buildables, way too many. Like, half the time when I was playing this map, I was just trying to remember all the spots where you build stuff. And half of them don't even matter, so what's the point? But it's a super cool aesthetic. You know, it's an underground Old West town. All in all, I think I would comfortably rest this in B tier. Next we have Origins, the second most easiest S tier of my life. I don't know a single person who doesn't love Origins. It brought back the classic characters. Zombie in an armored suit would chase you around. The Easter egg was super good, and honestly not that hard to follow. Like, if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. It added a lot of World War I era weapons, which is a super nice touch, as this map takes place in the World War I trenches, as Germany has gotten control of 115, and they've built these giant robots that come around through the map. And can't forget the amazing wonder weapons, the elemental staffs. Figuring out how to get all their parts and put them together and then upgrade it was a super fun challenge, and it felt very rewarding when you get these incredibly powerful weapons. All in all, for me, Mob of the Dead and Origins are pretty tied, but I think the aesthetics and feeling of Mob of the Dead is what puts it over for me. Next, we have Black Ops 3, starting off with Shadows of Evil. Now, I took a long break from zombies, so I got to Black Ops 3 pretty late, but that didn't stop me from enjoying the heck out of it. So, Shadows of Evil takes place in the 1920s, and the characters, the music, everything is super interesting to me. One of the best wonder weapons was introduced, the Apothicon Cannon. It basically shot out a black hole that sucked up all the zombies and kept you safe. What's cool about this map, it mixed Cthulhu-esque lore with the 1920s, which sounds wild, but it really was, and it worked fantastic. There were some new enemies. The Margwas were these big guys that chased you around. There were these fly-like parasites that flew around, and there were these, I call them roly-polies, the little meatballs that follow you around. They help shake things up. Sometimes they can get annoying, but like I said, they shake things up in a good way. Had a great Easter egg and great rewards for doing said Easter egg. And it took great inspiration from Mob of the Dead by copying its afterlife mode and transforming it into beast mode, which you turn into this Cthulhu creature going around the map, activating stuff, and it becomes like, it's a big puzzle you solve. Once you have all the pieces, you just fly through this map, setting stuff up with a breeze. It's a great time. So for me, Shadows of Evil, right behind Origins at S tier. Now, the Giant is just a remake of Derice, so everything Derice did, the Giant did awesome too. So it's gonna, it's the same as Derice. And for those of you saying that Derice didn't age well and didn't like the Giant, well, guess what? You didn't age well either. Our next map is the Eisendrache. Now, this one I haven't played much. Just since I've never heard anything bad, and the little bit I played, I'm gonna put it in S tier. Just at the bottom because I don't know much about it, but I know it belongs there. Zetsubo no Shima. This map is awful. This map is a garbage fire that somebody threw in a dumpster. This map is ugly as sin. It takes place in a swamp area. The Easter egg quest is super unfun and tedious. The boss was garbage. There's some Shrek-looking new zombie that chases you around and he's awful. The process of turning on the power is a huge headache, and building the wonder weapon is stupid too. Like, I have to take a seed, plant it underwater, and then go get more water to water the seed that's already in water. It makes no sense. The ending cutscene for the Easter egg, it'd have a great ending though. And for that, I'll put it on top of F tier. At least it did one thing right. Gorod Krovi. Now, this map has dragons, and some people didn't like dragons mixing with zombies. However, I have to tell those people that this is the most heavy metal map I have ever seen in my life. What is more heavy metal than zombies and also dragons and giant robots fighting each other? The answer is nothing, because that's as metal as it gets. Anyways, the map itself, very cool loadout. You got some super awesome weapons, such as the PPSH, and the FAMAS came back and they redid that. It has the best shield because it shoots out fire. They upgraded the ray gun. There's now a ray gun Mark III, which in all honesty isn't as good as the 2, but only by a little bit, just because its damage kind of falls off after a while. Anyways, there's cool wonder weapons. You can do these challenges to get, like you can get a baby dragon on your wrist and shoot fire and send him out to fight while you have this cool fist and you punch zombies around, the 115 punch. Like, that thing is amazing. You can also get these dragon airstrikes. You get this crystal, and now you can call in airstrikes for the dragons to come by, and they bomb zombies. The downside, though, is that the Valkyrie drones, these robots that fly around, they are incredibly annoying, and they are not a fun enemy. They do nothing to add to the experience. They decrease the quality of my life, and I hate them. The Easter egg is also very tedious as well. I love this map, but it has its flaws, so I can't put it in S tier, but I think it's top of A tier. And for the last one, we have Revelations. I didn't like this one for a while, but upon giving a second look, it's alright. At first, I didn't like it because it felt to me just a rehash of old maps. What it is like reality's breaking, so they brought in a bunch of old maps to be some areas you go to and you jump in between them. Sounds cool on paper, but it's really, when you play it, it just feels uninspired and just not really the proper send-off for what was the last good zombies map. The upsides, though, there's a lot of wonder weapons you can get. That nostalgia is cool at first, so that's a plus, but it wears off pretty quickly when you realize that's all this map is trying to do is nostalgia bait you. It does have the coolest way to get to Pack-a-Punch. It gets eaten by a giant monster at the beginning, and you turn on all these powerful things, and you trap it in this shock trap, and then you enter in through its mouth. Like, it's super cool. I wish that we got a brand new map to send it off, instead of just something kind of meh. But with all the weapons and stuff, like, it is a fun time. And there's a lot of good training areas, so Revelations, I put it in B tier. So everybody, thank you for listening to my tier list. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking how wrong and stupid I am. Go ahead and send me an email telling me how wrong and stupid I am. I won't read it, but the thought is appreciated. Have a good day and goodbye.